Good evening, my friend. You've made it through another long day. The softness of your pillow, the quiet hum of electricity in the walls, the warm water, the gentle lights. You may not think of them, but tonight you will, because tonight we're going back, far back, to a time when none of that existed. No heat from a switch, no shoes with foam, no medicine, no mattress, no warm shower waiting, just dirt, wool, firelight, and a sky full of stars. Tonight I want to show you what life was like in the Middle Ages, not as a noble, not as a knight, but as someone ordinary, someone like you, only born 800 years earlier. Let me show you what it means to wake up cold, to work with raw hand, to sleep on straw, to survive without the things you never realized were saving you. And gently, slowly, you'll come to understand why you wouldn't last a day. If these quiet journeys bring you comfort, you're always welcome to leave a like or subscribe. And if you feel like it, tell us where you're listening from and what time it is. We love knowing who's out there with us in this little corner of peace. For now, tuck yourself in, adjust your blanket, let your body grow still and your breathing slow, because the fire has been lit and our story is ready to begin. You wake up, but something feels different. There's no glow behind your eyelids, no hum of a heater, no gentle buzz from a phone beside your bed, just silence and cold, a deep, honest cold, the kind that sinks into your bones, the kind you can't push away with the press of a button. You open your eyes. Above you, low wooden beams, darkened with smoke. The roof groans softly in the wind, and somewhere a bird calls out. Not the sharp ring of an alarm, but a lonely sound from far-away trees. You're lying on straw, not a mattress, not even a cushion, just dry straw, packed tight beneath a scratchy wool blanket, rough on your skin, heavy, but it's the only warmth you have. You curl your toes. There are no socks, no fuzzy slippers. Your feet are bare against the cold earth. The floor is just packed dirt, cool and slightly damp. There are no floorboards, no carpet, only nature inside the home. Your nose tingles. The air smells like wood smoke, old ashes, sheep's wool, and something sour, bread gone hard perhaps. A small fire crackles nearby, not for comfort, for survival. There's no central heating here, only what your hands can build and keep burning. You shift under the blanket, feeling the weight of layers, linen, wool, and more wool. No soft cotton pajamas, just rough spun fabric, thick and scratchy, tied at the waist. You hear movement, not the hum of a passing car, but the slow creak of wooden boards above you. Someone walking in the loft, a family member maybe, already awake, already working. There is no sleeping in, no weekends, only morning and work. You sit up slowly. The blanket slips from your shoulders and the cold rushes in like a river. You take a breath. The day has begun. You're just a child here, no older than 7. Thin arms, bare feet, wide eyes. You wake with the sun, not because you want to, but because the world doesn't wait. There's no school bell, no cartoons, no warm breakfast waiting, only chores and frost. Your fingers are cold before you even leave your blanket. There's no thermostat to fix it, no mittens either, just sleeves pulled long and the breath from your nose to keep them warm. You curl deeper into the straw bed, but the sounds of the house are already stirring. Footsteps on dry boards, a heavy ladle scraping against the pot, the whistle of wind through the shutters, and the smell of smoke. That's how every morning begins, not with alarm clocks, but with ashes and smoke. No toothpaste, no heated bathroom tiles, just a rag, a bowl of cold water, and a pair of hands that never quite feel clean. The fire in the hearth is never truly out. Its embers are coaxed back to life each morning. No matches, no lighters, just flint and patience. You dress quickly. There's only one outfit for you, a rough tunic, patched and repatched. It itches, but it's yours. There's no soft cotton here, no cartoon prints, only practicality. Outside, the frost still clings to the edge of the thatched roof. Your bare feet crunch on frozen mud as you step outside. The barn creaks. The animals are restless. Your first job is feeding the animals. The goats bleat softly as you stumble into the barn. The hay is damp. It scratches your legs, but you kneel down anyway, gathering what you can into a bundle, laying it out for them with sleepy care. The goat nudges your elbow, warm breath against your skin. You smile. Even here, in the cold, you find your own little joy. There are chickens, too. Your job is to collect the eggs, if there are any. Sometimes there aren't. Sometimes a fox has come in the night, and no one tells you it's not your fault. You've already learned life is thin and fragile. Back inside, the house smells of porridge, thick, coarse, made with barley and water. No sugar, no cream, just enough to fill your belly and keep you from fainting by midday. You eat from a wooden bowl with a carved spoon. It's not smooth, it's splintered, really, but it's yours. There's no plastic, no sink to wash it in, only a cold basin near the door where water has been fetched from the stream. You wash your face, or try to. The water bites at your skin. It's colder than the air. There's no mirror either, just your reflection sometimes in a puddle or a polished piece of iron. There's no playtime waiting, no toys with flashing lights, only a ball made of rags, a stick, some stones, And even those you only hold after your work is done. Your chores are many. You carry firewood. You sweep ashes. You help mend nets if your father fishes, or turn the soil if he farms. Sometimes you simply wait in silence, watching adults work, learning with your eyes, not your ears. There's no internet, no books in your home, only stories passed down by voice, tales of saints and storms and seasons. You listen carefully, because they will never be repeated the same way again. In the afternoons, you help your mother, grinding grains, spinning wool, pulling weeds from between stones. There's no reward, no allowance, just the knowledge that you helped, that you are needed. Sometimes your feet ache. You stub your toes, your hands crack from the cold, and you try not to cry. But tears are not often welcomed. There's work to do. Evening brings little rest. Dinner is quiet, a crust of bread, a bit of root vegetable. If the harvest was kind, sometimes a sliver of salted fish. No dessert, no options. You eat what there is, or you go to sleep hungry. The fire is lower now. The room is colder. You crawl beneath your blanket of coarse wool next to your siblings, or a cousin, or even a neighbor's child. Privacy doesn't exist, not here. You all share warmth and silence. There's no bedtime story, no lullaby from a speaker, only your mother's voice humming, or the wind howling gently outside. There are no walls to protect you from the cold, just old wood and older prayers. Your eyes grow heavy. The smoke from the hearth makes them sting, but it is a familiar sting, a sleepy one. Your body aches even at this age. Your hands are calloused, your knees bruised, but you are alive. And here, that's enough. You breathe in. You hear the soft breath of others around you. Their warmth, their closeness is the only comfort you've ever known. You close your eyes, and sleep comes quickly. Not the sleep of screens and sound machines, but of exhaustion, of cold toes and full bellies, of a fire that might not last till morning, and dreams that flicker like shadows on stone, and if you're lucky, tomorrow will come gently. Sometimes on the rare days when the chores are done, you're allowed to go outside, not far, just to the edge of the field, maybe to the muddy path that winds through the village. It's not paved, it's not marked, just earth and ruts and the scattered prints of hooves. You walk slowly, bare toes sinking into mud, feeling the cold, soft pull of the earth. Children don't run here. There's nowhere to run to, and nothing to run in. Only tunics and cloaks and the wind. But still, there is play. You pick up a stick, pretend it's a sword, scratch a symbol into the dirt, something you saw carved into the church wall. You wonder what it means. You've never been taught to read, not yet. There's no kindergarten, no chalkboards, no bright little chairs, just a wooden bench in the cold stone chapel, and a priest who scowls when you fidget. He smells of wax and wine and speaks in a language you don't fully understand. You sit still because your mother told you to, and because once you saw a boy get struck with a rod for talking. Not hard, but hard enough. Still, it is peaceful in its own way. When the sun begins to fall, you head home again. The shadows stretch across the ground, and the wind picks up. You pull your cloak tighter. It smells like sheep's wool and rain. There's no waterproof fabric, no zippers, just ties and layers, and hope. Back at the house, the hearth is burning again, dim, low. The smoke clings to everything. Your clothes, your hair, your skin, the scent is everywhere. Not unpleasant, but sharp, like home. Sometimes your father comes in just before dusk. His face is lined with dirt and sweat, and his hands are cracked from tools and frost. He doesn't speak much, but when he does, you listen. His voice is low, measured, like the fire, steady and patient. He tells you about the old storms, about winters that froze the well, and summers when the crops burned. He tells you what it means to survive, and you listen with wide eyes and a belly full of plain broth. There's no meat tonight, only turnips, bitter but warm. Your sister coughs once, twice. No one says anything. There are no doctors, no pills, just honey, herbs, and prayers, and time. Sometimes children don't get better, and everyone knows it. You sit quietly, feeling the fire's glow on your face. It doesn't reach your back. Only the side that faces the flame is warm. You lean toward it until your cheek almost stings, but you don't move away. There's no bedtime routine, no brushing your teeth, no pajamas, no goodnight hugs, only sleep. When the fire is low enough and the room is dark, you lie down again, back on the straw, the same woolen blanket pulled over your shoulders. Your brother's elbow touches yours. Someone's foot rests across your leg. There's no space here, but there is comfort. Your eyes close. Outside, the wind carries the howl of wolves far off in the woods. You are not afraid. They are far, and the walls, though thin, still stand. You hear your father place one last log on the fire. You hear the creak of the roof as it settles. You hear your own breath, and beneath the wool, the dirt, the cold, you feel something else, stillness and safety. The day is done, and you are a child of this world, one with scraped knees, tired arms, cold feet, and a spirit that endures. Because here, in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of history, survival is your only purpose, and somehow you are doing just fine. You drift, not into a dream of luxury, but into a dream of another day, just like this one, hard, simple, honest, and when you wake, it will begin again. You are grown now. Your hands are larger, but rougher than they should be. Your back bends earlier in the day. Your steps are heavy, not with age, but with repetition. You live not for dreams, but for duty. No one asks how you feel. That isn't something people ask here. There is no word for burnout, no days off, no vacations, only seasons. And each one brings its own labor. In spring you plant. You rise before the sun touches the fields. The soil is cold, sticky, stubborn. You work with tools that splinter and wear. No engines, no metal blades sharpened by factory hands. Just wood, stone, and time. You push your body forward through the frost-bitten earth, feeling the ache in your shoulders, the strain in your knees. There is no stretching, no warm-up, only motion or starvation. Your stomach growls, but you keep going. A hunk of stale bread in your coat pocket is your breakfast. You chew it slowly as the wind bites at your ears. There's no coffee, no warm mug, just cold breath and the weight of the day ahead. You work until your fingers no longer obey you. Then lunch, if you can call it that. A bowl of beans, a bit of salted pork, if the last pig was kind. No seasoning, no utensils. You eat with your hands and wipe them on your trousers. There are no napkins here, no clean sinks, only water, fetched from a stream that runs brown in spring and disappears in summer. Then you work again. The sun overhead is your only clock, and when it sinks low, the sky orange and bruised, you return home. But the work is not done. There's wood to chop, animals to feed, a roof to patch, a wheel to repair, a child to soothe. Because yes, you have children now, and they look at you with wide eyes, the same way you once looked at your father, and you try to smile for them, but the corners of your mouth are tired too. The fire is burning low, but you wait until they sleep before you add the last log. It's wasteful to use it early. Every stick counts. You sit in silence. There's no music, no television, only your thoughts, and even they are simple. Will the harvest hold? Will the rain come too soon? Will the winter be kind? You remember the stories your father told, and now they feel like warnings. You feel a cough rising in your throat. You swallow it. There are no antibiotics, no clinics, no x-rays. If something inside you breaks, you carry it as long as you can, and when you cannot, you lie down, and the world moves on. Your wife rubs her hands. They are red, cracked, bleeding from the cold water, and lie. She's been washing clothes all day in a barrel, stirring them with a stick, rinsing them in silence. She doesn't complain. No one does. Here, everyone suffers quietly. There's a simplicity to it, a kind of dignity in the silence. But you wonder sometimes what it would feel like to be warm without chopping a tree, to be clean without kneeling beside a stream, to eat a hot meal that someone else had prepared. But that is not your world, not in this life. You eat when you can. You sleep when it's dark. You laugh, sometimes, when the child says something unexpected. And that laughter feels like gold, because joy is rare, and you've learned to savor it when it comes. Sometimes you dream of places with music in the walls, of chairs that are soft, of light that doesn't flicker or burn, and you wake with tears on your cheeks, but you wipe them away before anyone sees. You rise, and the day begins again, and then comes winter. Everything slows, but nothing stops. The cold is deeper now, not just in the air, but in the bones, in the walls, in your breath. You wake each morning not to light, but to frost on the inside of the window. Your boots stiff with ice, your breath white like smoke from your lips. There is no central heat, only the fire and the constant fear of it going out. You chop wood until your hands bleed. The axe handle is worn smooth, your palms worn rough. You wear layer upon layer, wool, fur, leather, whatever you have, but still the wind finds you. It slips through every crack, under the door, through the thatch above. It moans at night, and you pull the blanket higher over your child's shoulders, and you pray. You don't pray often, but when you do, it's for warmth or mercy, because in winter the illnesses come. One child coughs for days, another grows pale and quiet. There is no hospital, no doctor, no ambulance, only herbs and hope. You boil water with dried roots, you press cloths to hot foreheads, and you watch, you wait. You whisper to the fire to stay strong, because it feels like the only thing keeping you alive. Sometimes it isn't enough, and when that happens, you bury the small bundle of cloth behind the chapel. You dig the hole yourself, with numb fingers, beside others, in the frozen ground. There are no granite markers, just a stone, and a name you speak quietly before silence takes over. You don't cry, or you do, but later, alone and still, you work. The village continues. There's a bakery near the square, and once a week you help there too. The oven is old, stone-built, its mouth black with soot. The heat is overwhelming. It burns your face, but for a moment your fingers don't ache. You need dough that's half barley, half dreams. The loaves are small, flat, dense, but when they come out of the oven, the smell fills the entire street. You carry one home in a cloth, still warm. Your wife tears off a piece. She hands it to your youngest, and in that bite there is peace. Once a year you go to market. It's a half-day's walk through mud and woods with a cart that moans worse than the oxen. The fair is loud, full of smells and sound. You see things there you don't have. Cloth dyed in deep red, a mirror with silver trim, a wheel of cheese you can't afford, music played by someone who doesn't have dirt under their nails. You look, you don't touch, because this is not for you, not your class, not your life. But still, you return with salt, a pot mended by a smith, and maybe, if you've saved enough, a comb made from polished bone, a gift, not for a birthday, just because you love her. The nights come early now. By the time you return, the house is dark. You light the fire again, shake the snow from your shoulders, and sit. Your body hums from the cold and the distance, but you are home. You remove your boots slowly. Each foot is red, damp, stiff. There are no heated floors, no towel warmers, only a stone near the hearth where you rest your legs and wait for the blood to return. Your wife places a bowl of stew beside you. It's thin, but warm, and it's enough. You sit in silence together, a silence born of exhaustion but filled with something sacred. And then, bedtime. The children huddle together under thick quilts. You kiss your youngest on the forehead. She doesn't stir. You lie beside your wife, listening to the wind, the crackling wood, and the sound of your own breathing. And you think of what life must be like where sleep is clean, where teeth don't hurt, where bread is soft, and pain can be cured with a small white pill. You try to imagine a world like that, but it feels like magic, or a tale for children. You drift off slowly. The aches don't leave you. The chill is still there, but for now you are held by duty, by love, by a life that is hard and full and real, and the fire burns on. Some evenings, when the work is done, you walk to the edge of the village. There's a man there, your neighbor, Tomas, older than you, still strong. He's fixing his fence when you arrive. He nods, says nothing. You nod back. That's enough. Words are spent carefully, like coins. No one wastes them here. You work beside him for an hour, not because he asked, but because one day you might need help too. The air is thick with the smell of wet earth. It rained earlier, and now the world is quiet, damp, and sweet. You smell wood smoke, fresh-cut pine, and the faint scent of manure from the edge of the yard. There's no perfume, no fabric softener, but you still know the smell of home. When the fence is straight again, Tomas hands you a slice of something hard and salty. Cheese, maybe. It crumbles in your mouth. You nod again. Thanks enough. And you walk home in the dusk, your feet sinking into the soft earth, your thoughts quiet. Later that month, you help repair the roof. You climb onto the thatch with twine, dry reeds, and nothing else. No harness, no helmet, only balance and prayer. The wind tugs at your cloak. Below you, the chickens scratch at the soil. Your wife calls up, worried, but the roof must hold. The rain is coming, and when it does, it comes hard. For hours, days sometimes. It pours through the trees, over stones, into the house if you're not careful. You place buckets under the leaks. You mop. You move the straw beds farther from the wall. There's no plumber, no repairman, only you. You sit by the door in the evening, watching the clouds move fast above the hills. A storm is coming. You can smell it. Wet leaves, churned soil, and something electric. It arrives in the night. The thunder cracks the silence in two. The children stir, but do not cry. They're used to it. The rain drums against the roof like 1,000 footsteps. The wind moans through the rafters, and you lie awake, counting the seconds between lightning and sound. 1, 2, 3. In the morning, the village is clean again, washed, quiet, and then there is a wedding. Rare these days. The whole village gathers. A simple meal, a few songs, laughter. You haven't heard real laughter in weeks. Your wife takes your hand, not out of habit, but because the music stirs something in her. You dance, slowly, badly, but no one minds, and for a moment you forget the cold, the hunger, the ache, just for a moment. Someone brings out a letter. It came from the next town, 2 days' walk away. Inside, news from a cousin, a birth, a death, a line of words you read 3 times, slowly. The ink is fading, the paper is stiff, but it feels like treasure, because in this world, news is rare, and anything written feels like magic. That night, as the fire dims, you sit with your wife beneath the shared blanket. The baby sleeps nearby. The oldest child hums softly to herself. Your fingers trace the rough grain of the wooden bowl in your lap. And you think, you've built this, not just the walls, not just the fire, but the rhythm, the life. It isn't easy, it isn't gentle, but it is yours. You smile just a little, and tomorrow you'll rise again. The years have passed. You don't remember when your hands stopped healing, when the aches stopped leaving, but they're with you now, always. You rise slowly, no longer with purpose, now with care. Your joints complain before you speak. You sit at the edge of your bed, if it can be called that, and listen, not for birds, not for fire, but for your own breath. It's there, thin but present. The room is familiar, though dimmer. The corners have softened. You don't light candles often anymore, not since your eyes began to fail. There's no glasses to fix it, no surgery. You simply squint, or close your eyes and remember what things used to look like. You still tend the fire, still place the wood just right, though now it takes longer, and the flame is slower to catch. But when it does, the light washes over your skin like the hands of an old friend. You sit near it for most of the day, wrapped in 3 layers, a wool cloak, a shawl, a thick blanket across your knees. There's no heating here. There never was. Only warmth you create or preserve. And so you sit and think, not of the work, not of the aches, but of little things, the smell of barley porridge, the weight of a newborn on your forearm, the sting of icy wind on your cheeks in February, the sound of your father's voice, rough but kind, telling you, make the fire last, always. You remember his hands, so much like yours now, browned by sun, split by time. You remember walking behind him in the fields, stepping into his footprints because your legs were too short to make your own. He never said much, just worked and watched. Now you do the same. You watch your son, tall now, strong, quiet in the way you once were. You see him lift the axe. You see the way he tucks the youngest child's hair behind her ear. You see yourself, and you feel something heavy and light all at once, a life carried forward. No one asks what you think anymore, not often, but sometimes. The children sit near you by the fire with wide eyes, and you tell them things, soft things, not grand, but real. How the river freezes in November, how to keep a sheep calm when trimming hooves, how to know when bread is ready, not by sight, but by sound. They listen, and in their silence you feel seen. Once you receive a gift, a blanket made by your granddaughter's hands. The wool is imperfect, lumpy, scratchy in places. But when you wrap it around your shoulders, you feel something powerful. Not warmth, not pride, but continuation. The knowledge that what you gave did not vanish, that life goes on, not better, not easier, but with memory. In the evenings, you sit near the door. You can't walk as far now. Your knees no longer carry you to the fields, but you watch them from afar. The wheat still grows, the clouds still move, the animals still grumble and graze, and you breathe. That is enough. Some nights your wife sits beside you, Her hair is white now, her hands thinner than before. You hold them quietly. There's nothing to say. There never was, not really. But you feel her thumb trace your skin, and that is the language of everything. The fire dims again, the light flickers, and you tuck the blanket higher. You lean back, close your eyes, and for a moment you're young again. The cold air of spring, the sound of goats, the weight of straw under your back, the hiss of rain on a thatched roof, it all returns, not as memory, but as feeling, real, sharp, and warm, and you sleep, not out of exhaustion, but out of peace, because there is nothing left to chase, nothing to fight, only stillness and the soft, quiet hush of a life that mattered. Some days you forget things, a name, a word. Where you put the knife, it slips away like mist. You reach for it, and it's gone. No one scolds you. They speak slower now, louder too, as if your ears were the only thing aging. But it isn't your ears, it's everything. You still walk, but not far, to the church sometimes, with a cane someone carved for you, smooth from years of use. It leans as much as you do. The bell rings once a week, and though your legs ache, you go. Inside, the stone is cold, always has been. The candles flicker like tiny stars. You sit on the same bench you did as a child. The wood has bent to your shape. Or maybe you've bent to it. You don't listen to every word anymore. The Latin has faded. The sermons repeat. But the quiet, the hush, it wraps around you like cloth. You close your eyes and pray not for miracles, but for softness, for your family, for a quiet end. Back home, you drink soup that's thinner than before. Your teeth can't manage crusts anymore, and chewing hurts more than you'd like to admit. You smile with your lips now, not your teeth. There's no mirror, but you know your face has changed. You feel it in your skin, in the way others touch you, carefully, tenderly, like paper. They bring you small things now, a warm cup, a folded shawl, a story about a cousin's new child. You nod and smile, even when you don't quite follow, because you love the sound of their voices, the way they fill the silence you once ruled alone. You sit by the window more these days, watching the chickens, the trees, the changing light. You can tell the hour not by any clock, but by the shift of the shadows on the wall across the room. There's no need to hurry. There never was. But now you feel that truth more deeply. In your sleep, you dream of walking without pain, of climbing the hill again, of running. And in the morning, when you open your eyes and the pain is still there, you do not curse it. You greet it like an old friend, because pain has walked beside you for longer than most. One day they ask you to hold the baby, a great-grandchild maybe. You forget whose, but in your arms, a heartbeat, tiny, fast, so full of beginning. You run your finger along the child's cheek, soft, unmarked. You remember your own child, the same shape of nose, the same warmth. You whisper nothing at all, just breathe and let the baby feel your chest rise and fall. This is how the world turns, not with clocks, not with noise, but with hands, holding hands. And now, at the end of the day, you sit before the fire once more, the same fire, the same smell of smoke, the same blanket folded over your knees. Someone brings you a cup of broth. You sip slowly. Your wife is gone now, years past. You speak to her still, softly, when no one listens, not with grief, but with memory. There is a little wooden box beside your bed. Inside, a carved comb, a small dried flower, and a cloth doll missing one arm. You don't open it often. You don't need to. The weight of it is enough to remember. You fall asleep earlier now. Even when the room is still light, your breath slows, your chest rises, then falls, and rises again. The world continues. Your son calls to his daughter. A chicken flaps its wings outside. Someone sings in the distance, and you smile because you can still hear, you can still feel. And even if the names fade, even if the words grow thin, you remain, rooted like the old tree behind the chapel, worn, bent, but steady, and you have become a quiet place for others to rest. You dream more often now. The dreams are quiet, not full of visions, but of feelings. Sometimes you're in the old field again, barefoot, 7 years old. The mud is soft between your toes. Your father is ahead of you. He doesn't look back, but you know he sees you. Other times, you sit with your wife beneath the stars. The children are asleep. The house is warm, and for a few precious minutes, the world asks nothing of you. You hold her hand again. She smiles, not young, not old, just as she was when love was something new. You wake slowly from those dreams, and for a moment you forget she's gone. Then the room settles around you, the silence returns, and you smile, because even grief can feel like company. Outside, life continues. A child cries, a cow bellows, someone shouts down by the stream. You stay inside, but you feel it all, as if the walls breathe with you. Once, long ago, this house was full of noise. Now it's full of memories, and they are softer than sound. The young ones take care of things now. You no longer lift buckets, no longer fetch wood. Sometimes you forget the day of the week, but you remember the faces, the voices, the fire, and that is enough. The village has changed, but not much. There are new roofs, new fences, a few tools sharper than before, but there is still no electricity, no glass screens, no roads, only horses and footpaths and time. You sit by the window watching a girl chase a goose through the yard. She laughs, high, clear, like a bell carried on the wind. You chuckle to yourself. You once ran like that. You once laughed just the same. A neighbor passes by, pulling a cart of kindling. He waves. You raise a hand in return, and for a moment you are not old. You are not aching. You are simply part of it all. Still, still here, still breathing. When the evening comes and the sun slips behind the trees, you light one candle. Its flame flickers, casting long, warm shadows on the wall. You speak aloud, to no one, to someone, a whisper of thanks, a quiet farewell, or maybe just your own name spoken one last time, as softly as breath. You lie down not with fear, but with peace. The fire fades, the world dims, and sleep like dusk comes without effort. Night has come fully now. No more footsteps, no more voices. The village has gone quiet, as it always does. Even the animals have settled. You can almost hear their breath in the stillness beyond the walls. The fire is low, just a soft orange heart, pulsing gently at the center of the room. You lie where you've always lain, on straw, under wool, wrapped in the same weight that has covered you since childhood. It's rough, scratchy against your neck, but comforting, familiar, the shape of your life. The room smells of old wood, smoke, wool, and silence. No perfume, no candles with names like Vanilla Dream, just the honest scent of time and warmth. You shift slightly. The straw rustles beneath you. It sings its quiet little song, dry, delicate, soft. There's no mattress here, no cotton sheets, no ticking clock, only the night and your breath. You breathe in through your nose. The air is cool, cooler than you'd prefer, but it doesn't bother you anymore. You've grown used to the cold, to the sharpness of winter on your cheeks, to the way the wind hums through every wall. You breathe out, slowly, softly. There are no machines, no heaters humming, no refrigerator buzzing in the kitchen, just the old fire and the wind and your breath. You rest your hands on your chest. They are still. No tools now, no buckets, no work, just fingers that remember everything they've held. A loaf of warm bread, a child's tiny foot, a rope pulled tight in the frost. And now they hold nothing, and that feels right. You feel the shape of the house around you, the walls close but gentle, the ceiling low and dark, the weight of the roof like a great wooden sky above your body. Nothing here glows, nothing blinks. There are no screens, no chargers, no blue light, only the soft breath of the fire and the whisper of the night. You are alone, but not lonely. The voices you've known still live in the walls, in the floorboards, in the corner of the room where your wife once kept her yarn. You speak to her sometimes, not out loud, just in your thoughts, and tonight she's near. You feel it in the stillness, in the quiet between heartbeats. She's sitting beside you, just as she did, rocking slightly, humming that tune you never learned the words to. And even if you cannot see her, you know you are not alone. Outside, the stars have come, cold and ancient and endless. They stretch across the sky like threads in a loom, each one a stitch in the fabric of everything. You used to stare at them as a boy, barefoot in the mud, before chores and frost and firewood filled your days. They are the same stars, exactly the same. The world has changed, but the sky still remembers you. You pull the blanket higher. The edges of your body begin to blur. You're not sure where your hands end and the wool begins. You are warm, wrapped, held. The house creaks once, a soft wooden sigh, and then stillness again. Even your thoughts have slowed, like leaves drifting to the ground after a long season of wind. You think of nothing in particular, and everything all at once. You remember the feel of warm bread in your hands, the smell of the barn, the way your child once whispered your name like a secret. You remember your father's voice, your mother's singing, the church bell, the frost, the warmth of your wife's hand in yours. And then you remember nothing at all, not because it is lost, but because the mind is quiet now. The same fire, the same roof, the same breath. No clocks, no screens, no white noise machines, just the hush of centuries. And your body letting go. One more breath in, one more breath out. You are not cold, you are not afraid, you are not awake. You are safe, you are warm, you are home, and sleep has already arrived.